Okay, I'm here. I can turn off that. Oh, I need to plug that in. Okay. Hey, Sean, I know that you're related to because I saw you in Two Lives earlier and you did, well, I'm not going
Okay.
to say that. How you doing today?
Going pretty good.
So I support transgender people. Should I not?
I think you shouldn't support certain transgender people. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a pretty vague statement. Like, I generally support
Like,
everybody. I shouldn't support,
yeah.
Adolf Hitler, clearly.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I don't think you should
Like,
support trans people
I
that say, like trans women, for example, or trans men that say that they're actual women or men.
I think you should, because the data is very
Okay.
clear that
Okay, wow.
that leads to the best outcomes for everyone.
Okay, so what is your premises for that? Is your premises that is that the premises that we should support whatever will make someone happy?
Well, we should. So, especially when it comes down to something that so there's a few pieces of data I'm relying off of here to begin with. The first piece of data that I'm relying on is the economic
Well,
program that.
I'm not denying that it doesn't make them happy. I'm asking what's the reason as to why you should call them women or men.
Because the data is very clear that we should treat them as women or men. So that allows that includes gender affirming care, in terms of like surgery and socially. That also includes things such as just being basic, respectful to them. And at that point, if we're treating them as women or men, they're acting as women or men.
Are they
And
women or men?
well, at that point, it doesn't really matter because the definitions of what
I think that was a
society
pivot.
uses based off of how we use it in society. Um,
That
and
was
if
a
you
pretty
ever,
big pivot.
well, so it doesn't matter how you define woman or man,
Can't just say it
because it
doesn't
is
matter.
our
I asked
definition
the question.
is based off of how we use it within society. Agreed?
I asked the question. No, it isn't really actually. You can reject the notion of how people use the word colloquially. It doesn't mean that changes the entire premises of the word.
So originally the word awful meant to full within awe, but society doesn't use awful in that way anymore. So clearly,
Yeah.
our words do get definitions based off of how we use them.
Well, not all the time. No.
Well, it is
Well,
just actually
it's
how
not
it
just
like
based off of how
works.
we use them. It's also based off of how what the word itself means. Like, I understand you're making the claim that, like, of course, definitions were mostly descriptive.
Well, they are just descriptive.
Yeah, they could be
There's very
descriptive and
few cases
prescriptive
where it's
depending
like
on the context.
prescriptive,
Yeah,
and a lot of the times when we're talking about like prescriptive definitions,
yeah.
it's
That's
going
why
to
I
be
said
based
mostly.
off of like mathematics or something that cannot change.
Yeah, that's why I said mostly. But why should I respect someone who calls themselves a woman, right, and then goes into the women's restroom, for example, and then
Well,
demands that other people recognize them as a woman because of some social expectations or social narratives that they fit? That's not something that I feel like I should respect. Why do you think I should respect that?
well, do you respect everybody else?
No, I don't respect everyone else. Depends. What do they do? Is this a person that's worth respect? I don't think a racist is worth respect. I don't think someone who's murders people is worth respect.
Well, yeah, I would agree with that, but trans people are racist or murderers by definition. So like
Are not? Is that what
inherently,
you said?
most trans people are not going to be murderers or racists.
I think that was irrelevant to what I just said. I said
We can all
depends
agree
on what
that
they
there's going
do.
to be bad you know,
I'm not going to respect people just because they're trans. That's the answer right there.
but you respect everybody else who's cis.
I respect people who are respectable. Yeah.
Oh, so you're giving a quality of respectable.
Yeah, if they do not do things to harm others, or if they do things that are respectful to others, then I would respect them.
So I have data that shows that not respecting trans individuals causes harm to them. So should I not be respectful to you?
I mean, if it causes harm to them, then so what? Like, not respecting racist people causes harm to them. Doesn't mean that we should respect them.
Yeah, but the racist is harmful to other people in the first place.
So are the trans people saying they're women?
No, they're not.
Okay, how are they not?
They're not inherently causing harm to anyone. They are. So when you look at like the statistics of like who gets like sexually assaulted and like that kind of stuff inside of bathrooms, it's actually trans people who get sexually assaulted the most. And especially that's the case whenever they're being forced to be into.
I never said that they're doing the most essaying or like harassment or like assault. I'm saying that what they're doing, which is destroying the point of the women's restroom and women's spaces, and also invading the word woman, I think that's harmful inherently. Because then we have problems where certain individuals who are trans will assault women and also harass women within the women's restroom and also within other women's spaces, and be allowed to be in that space. There's no safeguard. They removed the safeguard.
You do realize we actually have literally zero evidence that suggests that trans people assault people at even higher rates.
What are you talking about? I never said higher rates.
Well, so if you're talking about protecting somebody or like protecting this idea, you're basically making the claim that these people are harmful to like the bathroom in some way.
Males, yeah.
How are they harming the bathroom?
Males are the number one perpetuated of violence against females.
No, that would be men, not males.
Yeah, that'd be men. We
That would
have
be
no
males.
information about the
men.
sexual assault rates.
When they're
of
talking about men, they're
transgender
talking about males. They're not talking about females at all.
That's not what these studies look into.
So we do
They're
know
not
for
talking about
facts.
females. They're talking about males.
So Sean, so trans women are males, but they fall into a different statistical group when it comes to offense rates. Do you understand that?
Actually, no. It still falls under males because even within the Bureau of Prisons, transgender offenses in general, 51.27% of trans male to female, which are trans women, commit the majority of sex offenses.
And Canada's statistics say that like 90% of the population got offended before they transitioned. So
Offended, but what is that? How is that a response to what I just said?
Because they weren't actually trans when they committed, like they didn't identify as trans when they committed their offense.
I said the Bureau of Prisons, which would be America.
Yeah, and Canada's stats are equally as valid in that case.
No, it's not. Sure, it's valid, but it's not a valid argument in response to what I just said.
So yes, I can accept the fact that there's 50% of the population of trans people are in there in the U.S. for sexual assault. But what I can't accept is that there's any numbers that show us that
I wouldn't
transgender
say
individuals
50% are in
at
prison.
any rate. We
I
have
wouldn't
no
say
idea.
50% are in children. I'd say 50% of the offenses are sex offenses when it comes to transgenders.
No. It's 50% of the people
Transgender
currently
people.
in prison.
Sorry to interrupt, but not sorry. Transgender people. We do not use
I said transgender offenses.
You said transgenders, and that's not acceptable.
That's not what I said. I said transgender offenses.
I'm not deaf, okay? Don't fuck with me.
I said transgender
I heard
offenses.
you right the first time, bro.
No, you didn't.
Just don't say transgenders again,
I
because
said transgender offenses. I'm not gonna.
I don't care
act like-
what you think you
Can
said.
you stop gaslighting
I'm telling
me?
you to not say it again.
Can you stop gaslighting?
So Sean, we can both. Can you agree that we have no like statistically relevant data that shows the overall offense rates of transgender individuals? Because we don't.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
The
you're
Bureau of
making
Prisons.
so. Wait. You say the Department of Prisons, but that doesn't actually give us the information.
Bureau of Prisons,
Yeah, okay,
which
the
is
Bureau
they
of Prisons.
collect all the demographics within the prisons.
Yeah, but don't you understand? Can you agree that those demographics are they only reflect part of the story, not the entire story? Because Like we could look at who's
I
currently
don't think that
incarcerated versus
matters.
who's been actually. Well, it does because if you look at how
This
often like
proves
white
that
people
they
commit
are
crimes,
still
it's
not
actually that they commit
exempt.
crimes far closer than the time that they spend in prison.
That still doesn't matter. Literally, the point that I'm making is that they're not exempt from committing sex offenses. When we're talking about men committing the majority of crime, we're not talking about people who identify as men. We're talking about males because men are inherently males.
Well, I mean that's just how you define it based off of you, but definitions
There are
don't have an
also-
authority.
No, that's what we're talking about in these studies, in these
Okay.
same exact studies.
I have a question for you.
We're not talking about men. We're talking about males, obviously, because
Sean.
men are males.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So trans men exist too. What do trans men take away from you by existing? How are they harming you? What's going on? What are they taking away?
When it comes to protection, I don't think trans men are the problem because they're females. They're women. When it comes to like respect to privacy, I think trans men should stay out of the men's restroom.
Lord.
So
So
you think that
some-
they should go into the females' restroom?
Exactly.
Where they look
100%.
like just straight up guys?
100%. They should go into the women's restroom because they're women.
Do you have any pictures, Keaton?
I mean, yeah. We can just.
We
You
could
want
do
to pull
that.
up? You want to pull up a trans man and be like, "Oh, is this a man or a woman?" I don't think it matters. Like me, I can't determine a man or a woman. I can
That's
assume.
not the point. The
I
point
can
is that you
assume.
want these men to be in women's spaces.
If they have a beard and they're female, absolutely, they should go into the women's space.
It's
They have,
more
they
than a
have
beard.
every right
buddy.
to go into that
It's more
space.
than a beard.
Yeah,
They
it's
have every right to go into that space if they're female.
they're flat chested. They have
They
facial
have every
hair.
right. There are plenty of women who are flat chested.
No, like they
Not
literally.
like this.
No, like
These
they
dudes
have
can
like actual
jack
They
muscles.
exist.
up,
They're
too.
women. They're
And
women.
because they have the same testosterone, the same hormone profile as males do, so they're ripped as fuck.
They are masculine. They are masculine presenting women. There's nothing wrong with that.
And you really have a problem letting other people speak. And
Because you're monologuing. At some point, it has to stop.
Not only do these men have muscle in the same way that cis men would, but they also, some of them have bottom surgery. So you want full ass men by every phenotypical standard in the women's restroom. You can unmute.
Are you
now.
talking about trans men?
Yes,
Okay, yeah, they're women. They belong in the women's restroom, where they can
that's
advocate,
incorrect.
or they can advocate for a third space. Use a third
I
space
just
if
would
available.
love to see you. Okay. So now men, like cis men that want to harm women, instead of having to dress up and say I'm a trans woman to get into the restroom and commit that harm, let me finish. All they have to do is say I'm a trans man, and then they don't have to change a single thing about them phenotypically, and they get full access to the women's restroom.
You can say the same thing about being a trans woman. All you have to do is just say you're a trans woman. There's no qualification to being a trans woman.
Oh, but there is actually.
No, there isn't. What's the qualification?
So it's going to be being persistent, consistent, and insistent about your gender.
There's no qualification. Okay. Who's gonna stop you? Who's gonna stop you from not having a persistence and a consistence and a persistence? Who's
Your
gonna stop
own
you?
internal
one,
sense
but-
of self would stop you.
Yeah,
Who's gonna
yourself is
stop?
gonna
Hold on.
stop
Who
you.
is going to stop you from doing that? Who's gonna tell that you're not a trans woman?
There really shouldn't
Therapist.
be any. Yeah, like you.
If like
Not
if
all
they're just
trans.
saying it.
Not all trans people go to therapy.
If they're getting medical care, then they definitely
Not all
are.
trans people are getting medical care.
Okay.
There's
And
no qualification to being trans.
but like if they're not making like effort to pass, so to speak, I hate passability politics, but like
Oh my
these
God.
people
You want
are
them in
not-
the females' restroom.
seriously.
Say that again.
You want them in the females' restroom.
Trans men that are women.
You want that man in women's restrooms.
They're women. So yeah, if they're women, then yes.
just
Trans men are women.
standing and peeing. Just
Trans men are not men.
this-
They're women. They're trans-identified females.
They are females. We can agree on that.
Yeah. So which makes and they're adults, right?
Yeah, we can agree on
Oh,
that.
So they're
you're
women.
using the
So
adult
they're women.
human
They're
female
humans.
definition.
They're adult human females. They're women.
There are
So-
medical definitions that are better than that.
They're
So,
women.
here's the
Simple
problem
as that.
too: is that when you start using this kind of thing, you know what if we forced males to go into the men's restroom and females to go into the women's restroom. You know what that leads to?
It doesn't matter what it leads to. Obviously,
Oh,
violence
it
is
causes harm.
condemned.
So yeah, it does matter what it
Obviously,
leads
it's
to.
condemned, no matter what.
Yeah,
But it's the
but
better option than to have men just going into the women's restroom just because they self-identify as such.
so we know for a fact that there's significantly higher rates of sexual assault among people who are forced to go into their biological sex that they're assigned at birth.
Can I get a source on that?
Yeah. Give me one
Yeah.
second. I can actually give you a source on that.
Yeah, because I don't think that doesn't seem so valid that there's a higher chance. How was that study conducted? What's the methodology behind determining it?
It's so the background is that the survey responsible analyzed 3,673 transgender and non-binary U.S. adolescents in grades 7 through 12 who participated in cross-sectional 2017 LGBTQ teen study. We estimated the association between school restroom and locker room restrictions and sexual assault, adjusting for potential social and behavioral confounders using logistic regression. We also tested potential mediators, and the results were that transgender men were sexually assaulted at about 26 to 27% of them were within a 12-month period, and transgender girls were about 18%.
Real quick, Keaton.
Okay, so 20. Okay, so and how does
Give
this
me a second,
prove?
Sean. Jesus fucking Christ. Can Solid Snake come up? They asked for a piece.
I am responding to the host.
Yeah.
Corey.
And sometimes pauses in conversations need to happen for things that don't pertain to you. Wow, the world doesn't revolve
Can you
around
just
Sean,
like wait?
everybody.
Just like
Isn't that
sit in
wild?
the corner. Just wait for a minute.
There's the-
So no. How does that prove that? I don't see the methodology behind that proving that there's going to be an increase or a higher chance of violence against trans women
Do you think that
by us having the
it's-
segregation, putting the segregation back? Why hasn't this happened like at extreme rates before?
It does. We just didn't give a shit. That's the problem.
What? Okay. Okay. What are you talking about? How did it do? When we had sex segregation, when it was based on the sexes, right? And obviously it was illegal, which would be marked as peeping or sexual assault or sexual harassment, right? To go into the women's restroom, there would be other laws or safeguards in place for that. When was there an increase? When were people getting assaulted at high rates just for quote unquote looking like a man, quote unquote looking like a woman?
There are even-
It's not just that. It's that they are transgender and the people know that, and so they sexually assault them.
Okay, that's not the statement you made. I never said that sexual. I never said that transgender hate crimes did not happen. I said that when were the chances of being assaulted, like for looking like a man, right? Having, for example, being a woman with a DSD condition and having a beard as a woman. When were the chances that you were going to get assaulted be like a highly increased rate? Like when did that happen?
I don't think the point really matters as much as the fact that we have the data that shows that this is happening. It doesn't
Okay, you
matter when
said-
it started happening. It's been happening.
Yeah, but your source is not showing how that's going to be
It's
highly
comparing it
probable.
it has risk ratios of 1.26 and 1.42 compared to just cisgender individuals. So we're talking about I believe that's a 26 to 42% increase in sexual assaults.
Okay,
So we
Sexual
know for a
assaults in a
fact
high
that
school?
This is high school nonetheless. This
Yeah,
isn't
in high
even
school.
like general public, which might be even worse. And it is very well understood that people within who are like sexually assaulted within their formative years have some more issues later down the road because
But you're talking about trans men going into trans men going into the women's restroom,
no, I'm
and then
talking
trans
about
women
this
going
is
into the
happening
men's.
with trans women being forced to go into the male's restroom and trans men being forced to go in the female restroom.
Yep. Okay. And they got assaulted.
Yes, at 26 to 42% higher rates.
Okay. And how does this prove that this will increase? I think this is a correlation, not a causation. Like you're
What else
making a
is causing it?
correlation that they're trans men and they're trans women.
They
But I
are
don't see
actually
a
looking at
causation.
potential. They adjusted for potential social and behavioral confounding factors. So
Okay.
no, it is literally just looking at the sexual assault risk among transgender youth when they're forced to go into the locker room and restroom due
Do
to
you even have it
restrictions.
up,
But
Sean?
so okay, so you think it's better for trans women to go into the women's restroom, for males to go into the women's restroom
Yeah, because then we won't have this problem.
at the expense of this, like the
Well, that's the fun
safety
part. We
of
actually
women.
have no data showing that that's the case. That's the real
Well,
fun part.
well
You can
that's the
try.
thing.
I've
That's
extensive.
the
I
thing I
spent
just showed you.
hours trying. No, no, no. You
That's the
showed
thing I
me
just showed
a
you was the sex
statistic.
offenses.
Okay, so if you look at, we can literally just we can give it a Goog. Do we have
Obviously, it's going to say
data
not because they're a
about
minority. They're a minority compared to the
how
majority
Sean,
of men.
okay, real quick again. I know that Sean likes to talk a lot, and responding is fully okay. But like when you just jump on it, it doesn't really give other people the opportunity to make their points either. So if at some point we can make some space for Solid Snake Kitty here, that would be sick.
Are you talking to me?
Just kind of everybody, but mostly you. Yeah, you talk a lot, but that's cool.
I'm not the one talking a lot. I've been sitting here letting you guys monologue.
Okay.
Yeah. Most of my points have been in response to what you guys are saying, so I don't get what you're talking about.
I literally said responding was okay. Like, I don't think you were listening.
Yeah, you said I talked a lot, but you guys were the one talking, and I was responding to what you were presenting to me.
I'm not gonna converse with you when you don't even know what I said. Fully, at least.
Okay, don't say stuff if you're not even.
I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want to. Thank you, Sean.
Just mute.
Like you've never done this entire life.
Just mute yourself, because you don't think you have anything to add right now.
Stop telling people what the fuck to do. That's what I have to add.
Yeah, we don't actually have information about offense rates. We do have rates of victimization, which are much higher. They're disproportionately victims of sexual assault.
Right, but that's still like in comparison to the majority of the population that are not trans.
Okay. And so,
Right,
so
so
shouldn't
how
we
is that a
protect
good
people
comparison?
who are being sexually assaulted to try to prevent them from being sexually assaulted?
Say what? Repeat that?
Do you think that we should protect a group that we know are being sexually assaulted from the causes of the sexual assault?
Absolutely. Do I think that putting males in the women's restroom is doing that? No.
Well, the data just shows that that's what it would be doing.
No. No, I said putting males in the restroom would be protecting them in the women's restroom? No. I don't think so.
Because I've already showed you data that shows that when they're forced to go into the male's restroom, they're being sexually assaulted, or even the female's restroom too. It's actually it is actually the transgender boys who have the highest sexual assault victim rate among that study. So it's females inside female restrooms that had the highest rates of sexual assault of experience.
Yeah, but you're saying that we should now, because of that, we should now put them in the opposite sex categories and spaces because of that. Why should we? That doesn't make sense. Maybe there should be another solution, maybe a third space, not a space where we should just be allowing the opposite sex to go into the restroom and the opposite gender to go into the opposite restroom. I don't think that makes sense whatsoever.
I know a solution that
It's
works.
more like an appeal to like someone's comfortability.
No, this is just actually appealing to people not being sexually assaulted. Plot twist.
Not comfortable.
That is
No.
what I'm appealing to, not people not being sexually assaulted.
No, because then that still does put the risk at the quote unquote cis woman who
Well, we
could
actually
potentially get
no. That's
assaulted
an
because of that.
unjustifiable claim because if you try to
How?
find information about the offense rate of cisgender men or of transgender women, we don't have information on that. That is reflective of any way across the population.
I just gave you it.
No. But that's so you're just looking at one bit of data that doesn't actually look at what the
This is the demographic. This is, oh my gosh, this
there's
is the
many confounding
demographics of
factors
all
that play
transgender offenses committed within prisons.
So there's many different confounding factors regarding what you're talking about there. Some of them are going to be that transgender people are going to be like in a legal sense going to be basically pursued more often They're outed as an other group. We know that people dislike them at a higher rate. We know
Are you
that.
saying the source is bias? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that there's confounding factors that lead to higher like sexual assault rates. So being trans has for a long time been seen as some sort of sexual disorder, like pedophilia or something like that.
You do realize I'm saying that the ones committing these are the ones being stated in the document, which would be trans female to male or trans male to female. That's the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That
So,
are
so
they're in prison for sex offenses, predominantly.
So what I'm
Why are
saying
we
here is that
looking
there's
at
confounding
prison
factors of
stats? I
why
don't
we
get
would
that.
have high rates of people in prison that are sexual offenders because of the fact that it was seen as something that is a sexual disorder. So like people who are seen as pedophiles are gonna have, the pedophiles in jail are gonna disproportionately be people who have committed sexual offenses. Does that make sense? Because
So
society
you're
sees
saying
them.
you're saying that because we see certain or like they're like some type of hate crime or something, some like a discrimination
Yes.
against trans women of being sexual predators, that
Yes.
they're gonna end up becoming
That's
sexual predators. Are you serious,
No,
bro?
no,
No.
no. I'm saying that people see them as sexual predators, and bias plays a role at that point. That this is a confounding factor.
Okay, so you are saying the source is basically bias because
Yes,
I
I
don't
mean
see how that's
it's not like
wrong.
the source itself is biased, but there's confounding factors to the data. That's what a
Exactly. Like
confounding factor is. It's
there
not
are
saying that it's
variables that they're
biased.
not taking into consideration.
Yeah. So
What do you
you
mean they're not
can't.
taking? What are you talking? Okay,
That's
sex
what a confounding
offenses.
factor is.
Okay,
Have you
it's
been listening?
So
yes,
we
they are
aren't.
talking about sex offenses, which would also include sexual assault, sexual harassment, other. It could include violent crime, non-violent crime. The fact that that exists predominantly, I think that's enough to say that they are not exempt from committing this crime. They're not exempt from the male sex itself just perpetuating more of this violent and sexual crime.
So
I don't know
we.
why you speak in extremes so much. Like, just to be clear,
What?
none of us up just to be clear, none of us up here are saying that trans people never commit any sort of crime. Like, we never said that. We don't believe that. So when you say, um, sorry, I totally just lost my
I
train of
know
thought.
I know what you're saying. You're
You
saying
can
it's
let me
not
finish. You
dominantly.
can let me finish
You're
speaking.
saying it's not dominantly.
Maybe you can let me finish speaking.
Yeah, what are you gonna say that I don't already know? Go ahead. Tell me
You
something I don't
interrupted
know.
me, so I might have forgotten.
Anyway, so you're saying it's not predominant.
So I'm saying I need a second to think and see if I can remember what you had me forgetting.
I'm saying it is
Ian,
dominant.
what was I saying?
Oh, I don't know. I was trying to find a source about.
God
something.
damn it! I had a point. Oh yeah. I was saying that trans people are gonna commit crimes just like any other group of people. We're not saying they're exempt. That's the word you use. Like we're not. None of us believe that trans people are exempt from committing any sort of crimes. So when you say that, like we don't disagree on that front. But if you didn't use extremes and you just said, some trans people commit these crimes and not just say we're not exempt from it. Like we agree we're not exempt from it. So that's what I needed to say. You can unmute now. Thanks
I'm
for
saying they
letting me get my train of thought back.
predominantly commit these crimes.
Crimes that were only committed or considered to be sex crimes because of the way that we were discriminated against in the law, which is the point that you didn't get the key
What like
earlier.
see I think this is just another excuse. How can we prove that it's based on discrimination? That's like another theory. It sounds like a
Then
conspiracy
literally
theory.
explained it to you
No,
and
this
you
is not a
don't grasp
theory.
it.
This is well understood.
No, you're telling me stuff. You're telling
So
me
I can
stuff
give you
that
data
is just
that
based.
shows
It's
that
not.
people dislike trans people more often. They're more than twice as
That
likely to
doesn't
be shot in a
prove how the
school
source is
shooting.
wrong.
They are
It doesn't
actually
prove the
targeted.
biasness. That doesn't prove the bias of the source. Like what?
No. But what I'm so do you?
How can you
agree?
prove the Bureau of Prisons is biased?
It's not bias. That's not what bias is. I'm not saying that the Bureau of Prisons has some like political motivation. I'm saying that the way that they got into the prison as a society, things like judges and the people and juries are biased against trans people. This is well understood that generally society is biased against transgender people.
Okay.
You are
That's a
actually an
huge
example
pivot.
of it.
That's a huge pivot of a theory.
No. This is what's called a confounding factor.
You think the judges are biased. You think the cops are biased. You think the justice system is biased, and
I think
that's the
society is
reason why.
biased
Even if that was
against
the
transgender
case,
people.
even if that was the case, I don't think it would be at 51.27%. That is the most dominant transgender offense. I don't think that would be the case. I think it would be at least a little bit lower than that if there was some type of bias. But to then say like, oh, the reason for this is because the judges are in on it and they and they also have something against trans people in general. That's a stretch. That's a huge stretch towards a conspiracy theory.
So no. This is the the Human Rights Campaign says that while trans people are increasingly visible in both popular culture and daily life, we still face severe discrimination, stigma, and systematic inequality. Some specific issues of the trans community are lack of legal protection. The trans people face a legal system that often does not protect us from discrimination based off our gender identity. Despite like recent Supreme Court decision that makes it clear that trans people are legally protected from discrimination in the workplace, there's still no comprehensive federal non-discrimination law that includes gender identity, which means that trans people may lack recourse if they face discrimination. There's also state legislature in the country and states for designed to prohibit trans people from accessing public bathrooms that correspond with their gender identity, creating exemptions based off religious beliefs that would allow or creating exemptions on religious beliefs that would allow discrimination against LGBTQ plus people. Let's see.
Real quick, I want to open up the floor for the points that Kitty has, if they want to make them anyway.
No, I'm fine at the moment. I was just saying, like, when I actually conversed with him in another stream, I was getting cut off consistently, or he would just, like, overtalk or ignore half of the point I said and took only the half that would make him look better, and it's like, hello?
For real, that was a tough conversation. And it's just, half of it's because he just wants to like immediately respond or cut you off, and the other half of it is because he doesn't grasp the information that's in front of him.
Did we kick him or did he run?
I think he ran because I didn't kick him.
Oh.
I don't usually kick people unless I have to because
Yeah.
I was just like, I just put this cat picture like intriguing, totally taking everything in here.
One of our viewers thinks that you talk too much, Keaton.
What are you telling me? An autistic people it talks too much? Shut the fuck up.
The funny part was
it's the one requesting as well. Should we let them up?
Oh, I don't know. But 1 second before we do, if we do, it was so funny because they said that, and both Kitty and I were like, "Who are you talking about that talks too much?" And then we figured it out because they said the person talking right now when you were speaking, and I was like, but at first they said it's the person who sounds like an effeminate dude. And I was like, that could be either me or the host.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was either of you two.
Right? And then
oh my god, girl.
At that point,
unfortunately, I
was
don't
like,
believe that could apply to me.
It was so funny to me because so often you either are perceived as like effeminate or gay or often trans when you do the trans topics, which I just think is the funniest thing.
Okay, on to the next. Hi, could you get your age and pronouns, please?
Yes, I'm 22 and my pronouns are she, her.
Okay, so do you think that I shouldn't support transgender people?
No, I don't think you should, and I think that if you do, you're misogynistic and homophobic.
Oh, how's that the case? I'm literally friends with a bunch of gay people and friends with a bunch of females, and I treat them really well. I would say that, dare I say...
Females. Wait, a bunch of females. What type of females? What females are you talking about?
But
'Cause
both trans women
not only humans
and
that are
cis women.
females. So you mean women and girls?
Yeah, like what you would say as a woman.
Yeah, so don't say females. That's a bit dehumanizing. Can you say
Well, females
women
is
and
the
girls?
proper term. To
Yeah,
what I'm
but it's
talking
not only
about.
humans that are females, though. This is what I mean by the misogyny. It's not
I'm kind
only.
of on the guest side here. I'm
It's,
gonna interrupt just for the sake of like getting this part done with. I would say women, even if you're trying to exclude trans women, if that makes sense, by using the term female, while it is scientifically accurate, when you're in more social situations like this where people aren't using like scientific language so often, women is definitely humanizing. So I would use the word woman. And
yeah, but
will
this
include
person
trans women
just.
in our case, just
Yeah,
to be clear.
this person
It will
just said,
include
I'm friends with a bunch of females. That's very dehumanizing because it's not only humans that are females. Animals can be females too. This is what I mean by the misogyny. Like, you guys are very misogynistic. And that's why I think that anyone that supports this movement is a misogynist and a homophobe. You refer to women and girls as females. That's dehumanizing.
even though
Instead of
I
just saying
just
women and girls.
advocated with you, am I
No, I'm talking about the person
also
who said
a
that they were a bunch of.
You see,
I know, but
trans
does
women.
that make me a misogynist and all that stuff too?
No, I'm talking about the person who said that they're friends
You
with a
said
bunch of
but
females.
you said all of us in this movement if we support.
Yeah, for other reasons, but I'm talking about specifically about the person who said that they're friends with a bunch of females. But I think that if you support the trans movement, you're a misogynist and a homophobe, 100%.
Okay, so how am I misogynist? How do I treat women as lesser?
Yeah, no, yeah. The reason why I say you're misogynist because you are completely erasing and eroding everything that women fought for. They've fought for single sex spaces. And if you support trans women being in female spaces, you're quite literally erasing everything that feminists fought for. They fought for single sex based spaces, for spaces for there to be for females, and you are completely eroding that. A woman's bathroom is for human females. We call human females women and girls. If you think trans women are women, you're essentially saying that men, adult human males, can invade women's spaces. So you're saying that male humans can invade female human spaces. So you're a misogynist. You're literally against women's rights. And you're a homophobe because same-sex attraction was based on attraction to someone of the same sex. If you think a trans woman can be a lesbian, you're essentially just doing woke conversion therapy. You're forcing a homosexual woman to like a man, an adult human male.
No, that's
Even
not
though
true.
she's
I will interrupt
being-
for misinformation.
How is that not true?
Hold on. I'm strictly
Because we're not
vehemently
forcing
against
anyone to be with
conversion
anyone.
therapy of any flavor.
And it's
There's
we're not
like three
forcing
people
anyone to
speaking. I
be
need
with
one person at a
anyone.
time. I need one person at a time. There's like 3 people speaking at me.
I just repeated myself after Keaton finished, but if you needed to listen to Keaton again, that's fine too.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
can one person speak?
I was saying that I'm vehemently against conversion therapy of any flavor, kind, or even relation to. The
Okay,
the
can I ask
data
you a
is very
question?
clear that if we reject trans people, the only other option is to do conversion therapy. So it's actually, in a funny twist of events, you who is in support of conversion therapy.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go
Do you
ahead.
think a trans woman can be a lesbian? Do you think a trans woman can be a lesbian?
I mean, it depends on how you're defining lesbian. But
Absolutely. And here's why.
Do you think a trans woman can be a lesbian?
I would say
Which
so.
one of them? Because we have
Huh?
different answers. Probably, maybe. A little bit.
Yes or no? It's a yes or no question. Do you believe a trans woman can be a lesbian?
Well,
My
so-
answer is yes, straight up. But
Yeah, so
Then you're a homophobe. You're homophobic. That's quite
okay,
literally
I'm gay and
homophobia.
I'm homophobic, guys. We gotta
You
love
are, yes,
it.
you can be gay and homophobic. You can be gay and homophobic. You're a homophobe. If you think a male can be a lesbian, you're quite literally a homophobe. That is homophobia.
so how am I treating them as
Textbook
lesser
definition of
or against them?
No, no one said treat them as lesser, but you think a male can be a lesbian, you're homophobic. That's quite literally conversion therapy.
Homophobia definition.
You're against same-sex attraction. Same-sex attraction. That's
the
what,
dislike or
that's what
prejudice against gay
lesbians
people.
and gays
I'm not
fought
prejudice.
for.
I have no prejudice or dislike of gay people. Plot twist,
You
I'm not
must dislike them
homophobic.
if you think a male can be a lesbian. You
That's
must
just the
dislike
most
them.
non sequitur
my
thing I've heard in my
answer.
life.
I have an explanation for you.
You literally think a male can be a lesbian. You're
I still
homophobic.
have
That's
an
conversion
explanation
therapy.
for you. I even think that
What?
some men can be lesbian. Wow,
Then
shocker.
you're
You want to hear or
homophobic.
not? You want to hear or
Homophobe.
not?
Am I
You wanna hear or
discriminating
not?
against or against people who are have same sex attractions? No.
No, you are, because you're saying that a male can be a lesbian. That defeats the whole purpose of
You're
same-sex attraction.
steamrolling. Do you want an answer or no?
Emo. Go on. What's your answer?
Okay. here's
Justify how a
my
male can be a
answer.
lesbian. Go on. Tell me.
Okay. Some people, wow, social constructs can have different definitions to different people. Some people consider lesbians to be women loving women. Some people,
What is a woman?
I'm trying to get to that. Some people do still base those kinds of things strictly off of sex, but that's because they have a genital preference. And that's the nuance that you're completely leaving out. No one's forcing anybody to be with anybody else. You can have a genital preference and be a lesbian and practice being a lesbian differently than those lesbians that might not have a genital preference. Okay?
Okay.
Certain men can be lesbian because if you base it off of the anatomy, there are men with vaginas. Shocker.
No.
So
No. Absolutely
those
no
men
men
with
with vaginas
vaginas could
exist.
be considered to be
Hey.
lesbian if they're in another relationship with somebody else with a vagina.
Okay, let me stop you. Let me stop you right there. First of all, no man can ever have a vagina. Vaginas are for female. Only females can have a vagina.
India.
And
India,
females
India,
can't be
India,
men in your
India.
worldview.
How can a male have female anatomy?
I
How
didn't
can
say
a
male, I
male?
said man.
A man
Actually,
is an
that's the
adult
fun
human
part.
male.
They can. So
A man is an adult human male.
Hello.
there's a whole bunch of different intersex conditions. I hope.
Wait,
you
can I
understand
just
that.
wait? Can I
It's
just
harder
finish
to
what I'm
hear
saying?
you.
Because I wanted to respond back to
So
that
after
person. Let me
after
just finish
India
what I'm saying.
goes, Kitty's gonna go. Okay.
Right.
They've been meeting
First
very
of all,
patiently.
there are no men with vaginas because a vagina is female anatomy and men are adult human males. How can a male have a vagina? That's quite literally scientifically impossible. That's not possible. Secondly, it's not a genital preference. It's not a genital preference. It's just your sexuality. You don't get to pick your sexuality. You don't choose who you're attracted to. And the fact that you're trying to make it seem like it's a preference, like you just choose that you're attracted to these set of genitals, is just ridiculous.
That. I didn't
You
say
said
your
it's
genital
you said it's
preference
a
was
genital.
something you could choose, did I?
I never said you said that, but preference means you're choosing something
Stop
as
twisting
if it's
my
a
words.
choice.
Thank you.
You said genital preference. You know what preference means? Preference means you're choosing to be attracted to something. You're acting like sexuality is a choice when it's not.
So sexuality
Sexuality
is
is
not
not
a
a choice.
choice.
And I never said
Yeah.
that.
We all
So
agree
why are
on
you
that.
saying genital preference as if we're choosing which genitals to be attracted to? No one chooses their sexuality.
A
You're
preference
acting like
doesn't
it's a
imply
choice.
choice.
Yes, it
You and I
does.
define
Yes, it
sexuality
does.
differently, so we can't really have this conversation and
You
get
don't
anywhere
even,
until
you
we
can't
agree on the
define anything.
definition.
You don't know what a lesbian is. You don't know what a woman is. So I can't really trust your.
I gave you some pretty good definitions. I'm gonna let Kitty go since you're muted. I don't know if that was Kitty, but I'll keep muting so that Kitty can go real quick.
Right, first off, there's overtesthesis. So, one, males can have vaginas because there's things like overtesthesis and things like. Actually, how would you define a male, though? That's my question to you. How would you specifically define a male?
Yeah, I'll answer it. If I can stop getting muted. But anyways, I'll answer it. So a male is to be of or primarily denoting the sex that can produce small gametes. And absolutely no males can have a vagina because a vagina is.
Right. Do you want me to bring up some?
That includes
Would
intersex
you like me
males.
to bring up a credible study about overtesthesis and other intersex conditions that mean that males can have vaginas and females
Do
can have
you know what a
phalluses?
vagina is? Do you know what a vagina is?
Can you
Do you,
answer
if
Kitty's
you do.
question or
Yeah,
do
I'm
you want
answering
to
it.
speak?
I'm
No,
answering
you're
it. You know,
asking a
can you
question.
stop over
It was a
talking
yes or
me,
no
please?
question. Do you want
No
that
males
study
can
or
have a
not?
vagina. No, absolutely zero males can have a vagina.
Do you
If you
want the
knew what a
study or
vagina
not? Yes
was,
or no?
The study that will disprove him, go ahead. Send the study.
Jeez, will you?
Absolutely no males can have vaginas.
Kitty,
Even
what are your
intersex males.
pronouns? Oh, they're getting it. They're getting the study for you. So thank you for the yes. Finally, eventually,
So,
and
so
we're
the
not
whole
going to scare
problem.
people. So
So the definition thing, when you're saying that, a trans woman can't be a lesbian, it comes down to if you're defining lesbian based off of sex or gender identity. Because not everybody does it based off of just sex, and not everybody does it just based off of gender identity.
So
I think
you
it
have
can
to
mean
define
either
a
or.
woman based on gender identity then. So what is a woman then? That's why we're asking you, what is a woman?
So it's going to be somebody who. Why do I have to? The problem about talking about definitions is that they don't actually get to the root of the problem
Oh Lord.
here.
Yes, they do. It's very easy, actually. If you knew what a woman was, you should be able
Our
to
de-
describe what a woman is. What is a woman?
Are definitions descriptive or
Define woman.
prescriptive?
Define woman.
studies in the comments.
Okay, I'll just go to Cambridge. Or
I
was
don't know
it?
why you're saying that trans women are women, but you cannot even define
Yeah,
a woman.
just
That's
grab a
ridiculous.
medical dictionary and we'll settle this.
It's just ridiculous. This is why people don't support your movement.
Would you accept
Yeah.
Harvard Medical's definition of a woman?
Are you talking to me?
Uh-huh.
What's the definition of a woman?
Well, this is either you're going to or you're not going to.
Why do you want me to look it up? That's what I'm asking you.
Where is my? Why
So
can I
you're
not
telling me
find
that
my-
you don't know the definition of a woman.
Oh
You
no, I
can't give me
do.
one.
I'm just finding it. in
So
my
can you
notes here.
say it? Oh, okay, fine.
Hey, I've got one, a study that means males can have vaginas, and two, one that says females can have phalluses.
Yeah, what is a vagina? Because if you knew what a vagina was, you wouldn't be saying that. Absolutely zero males can have a vagina. It's
A
impossible.
vagina is the opening that leads to the vaginal canal and has a vulva, and the vaginal canal leads to the cervix to the uterus to the fallopian tube, and the fallopian tubes to the ovaries.
So how can a male have a vagina when a vagina is a muscular canal that leads from the cervix to a vulva? What male has that? Name me any male that has that. Zero males have that. It's impossible. So no
You're
males can
telling
have a
me-
vagina.
Have you ever heard of intersex conditions, also known as differences
Jesus
of
Christ.
sexual development?
Intersex people are still either male or female, and no males have
Yes, I
vagina.
know they're male or female, but my point is, people who are intersex can be male and have a vagina because of
No,
differences of
absolutely
sexual
no males
development.
can have vaginas because a vagina is a muscular canal tube that leads from the cervix to the vulva. No male on this planet has that. So no males can have a vagina. Vagina is female anatomy. How can a male have female anatomy?
Yeah. Have
Doesn't
you
make any
looked at the
sense.
study that Kitty gave?
They
Can you
haven't.
read
Where's the
either
study?
of the studies I gave?
Where is it?
Lord. It was in the comments when I said studies in the comments.
Oh, I didn't look through the comments.
There's
But
two
anyways,
separate
you
ones for
Take a
it.
peek again. There they are.
I can
PubMed.
pull up more if you want.
I can't copy that. So if you have a title,
Hold on it.
I don't know.
there's no males with vaginas.
India, 1 second. I don't know if it would be easier for Keaton to bring up articles either. We can't show them on the screen without getting the live,
Restricted. I don't know. Why.
yeah.
And
But
also,
what
sex
we can
isn't
do,
defined
let
by
me
genitals.
finish. Let me, Jesus. So we can copy paste directly from there, and you can look at it on your own device to make sure that we're not just putting whatever there, but we can show direct snippets from those to discuss. Okay, now I'm done. Thank you.
So you can't show the study on the screen because might get taken down.
Well, yeah, there's also images that are actually like X-rated in terms of it shows actual people's genitals. So yeah, no, I can't show it on screen whatsoever. Plot twist,
Okay.
I can't.
God, this live is for educational
Also,
purposes only. Thank
the
you.
thing about genitals is irrelevant because sex isn't defined by genitals. It's
Well,
not
sex is
defined
a
by
Okay,
part, or
genitals.
genitals are a part of sex,
Okay,
agreed?
The goalpost is moving because the point is you said that males cannot have a vagina. So let's stick with that first.
No, they can't. They
Okay,
can't.
so if genitals
But
isn't part of your sex, then there's no issue with
I never
saying
said it
that
isn't
somebody
part
with
of your
female.
sex. I said it's not. It's not. I never said it's not part of your sex. I said sex isn't defined by genitals. It's not defined by genitals.
Well, that is
It's
how it's
yes,
done
it's
at
sexuality.
birth.
That gender is not defined by your
Yeah.
anatomy or chromosomes or whatever or other.
Then you need to define woman then, which you haven't done. I'm still waiting
Yeah,
for the
so
definition
the
of woman.
definition is a term used to describe someone who self-identifies as a woman or as feminine based on what's important
That's
to them as an
circular.
individual. Yeah, I know
Circular.
that you're going to say it's
Oh.
circular, but all words are, but all
No,
definitions are
because
circular.
it is. Because it
For
is.
accessibility purposes,
No,
I'm
no, that's
interrupting
not true.
for- I'm
It's
interrupting
circular.
for accessibility purposes. Can someone make sure that India either stays on mute or stay quiet? When we give definitions, especially when they aren't pulled up on the screen, there are people that cannot hear the full definition. There are people that are using speech to text or vice versa that need these accessibility measures to be taken. So when somebody is reading a definition, I need you to either be quiet or mute until they are finished. Thank you.
That's a medical institution that
I'm-
gives me here.
I'm reading the definition. The first part is circa. You can't say is someone that identifies as a woman because that doesn't tell us what a woman is. That's like saying a child is someone that identifies as a child. That doesn't make any sense. You need to expand beyond the word.
Well,
And
we are.
feminine. Yeah, defining women by femininity is just sexist. Again, with the misogyny from this community, that masculine women exist, so that doesn't work as a definition, and feminine men who are not women exist. So yeah, this definition is absolutely awful.
Do you
It's
not fucking
circular
see that
and-
what's important to them as an individual?
Why are you crashing
Holy
out?
shit.
Why are you crashing out? Why are you crashing out?
Well, because
Like,
you're not
I
reading
don't-
the fucking words in front of you.
I'm reading it. I'm reading it, and it's a
Also-
bullshit definition.
You're saying like I don't know why people support y'all. This is Stanford Medical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
So are you saying that
We're not
Stanford doesn't know how to
talking
use
about,
fucking words? Is that what you're
Right.
saying?
so you're telling me a medical organization can't be wrong? You know, they also used to think lobotomies were okay.
Yeah, this
They
is
can be
just one
wrong
of
too.
the. So do you think all medical organizations are wrong about the definition of woman? Because they universally across the board define women this way. That's the fun part.
Yeah, then they're just wrong. I just explained to you
Oh.
how they're wrong.
Okay, so
The
so
definition
Stanford
is
Medical,
circular.
Cambridge Medical, Harvard Medical, they're all wrong?
You're doing an appeal to authority fallacy. You can't say because this
No,
medical
I'm appealing to
organization said it,
expertise
that
who
means
know.
it's right.
Do you think that medical
Yeah, and
organizations
expertise
know
can
what a
be
woman
wrong.
are? Do you think that
Expertise can be-
Stanford?
Yes, it can be wrong.
Okay, so do you think
Wrong.
that Stanford Medicine knows what what a woman is?
No, clearly not. Not with this definition. Nope.
Wait, but India.
Medical organizations can be
India.
wrong. A lot of
India.
medical organizations said lobotomies were okay. That doesn't mean they're correct.
Yeah, because we have new
They can be
evidence
wrong.
to show that that's the case. So we found
No.
out that woman can actually include things other than adult human females, and we adjusted our definitions to reflect that. That's what happened.
Yeah, and I'm reading the definition, and I systemically explain to you why it makes no sense. You can't say a woman is someone that identifies as a woman. That's circular.
So it
That
is
is a
circular, but
logical
it's-
fallacy. What part of that
Whoa,
makes
whoa,
sense?
whoa, whoa, hold on. Logical fallacies only apply to statements and to arguments. They don't apply to definitions.
The definition is a statement. That definition does not make any sense. You can't. That's like if I said, "Oh, a child is someone that says they're a child, or an adult is someone that identifies as an adult." That doesn't make any sense.
You're
You
not
need to
adding
expand beyond.
this
Yeah, so
definition.
we are actually giving more information because it's based on
Yeah, and
what's
then the
important to
second
them
part-
as an individual. This includes gender roles, behavior,
the-
expression, identity, and/or physiology. This
Yeah, the
I ca-
second part. Can you?
so all of that is based off what's important to them. So what you see as important is physiology.
Yeah, the second part, the definition included femininity or like feminine. Again, that part it's doesn't include all women because not all women are feminine, and it includes men who are feminine, and it's just sexist. Defining women by being
Or
feminine is just
and
sexist.
or,
Thing
Yeah,
and
is,
then later on it
and
says
or
and or. You need to
yeah,
like
that's still sexist though.
conjunctions are
And
needed
or
thing
here. All
or
right, we need to take a second. It says somebody
thing
who
or.
self a term describes somebody who self-identifies as a woman or as feminine, meaning they don't have to be. The definition's gone now. So I can't do the second one with you. But that word or is more important than you think it is. All
yeah,
right. Thank you,
or as
Kitty.
feminine.
I'm not quite finished. The definition's back up, so I'm gonna finish real quick
Here,
here.
I can do this as well.
Okay. Important to them as an individual, including gender roles, behavior, expression, identity, and or physiology. So
Right.
that doesn't mean it has to be all of them. It means there might be one of these here, like there might be two of these here, but it doesn't have to be all of them. So I
Right.
don't
So yeah,
understand why you're getting caught up on that.
yeah. So the problem with that definition, again, even saying a woman is someone that identifies as a woman or as feminine based on what is important to them, saying that is based on what's important to them is just refusing to define what a woman is, because you're essentially saying it's up to the individual. So that's just refusing to define. You're basically
Actually,
saying a woman.
no,
Yes,
no, because
no. Actually, yes.
So
And
did
I'm
you
actually
agree
gonna
that
explain to
how
you why.
I view a
Can I
woman?
finish without you interrupt? Without you
Okay, you
interrupting
can go
me?
ahead.
Yeah. So saying that it's it's based on an individual's person is just refusing to define. That's like saying a child is up to what someone thinks is a child. You're basically asking the person to define the word themselves. That's not how definitions work. You can't ask each and every single human to define words for themselves. That's not how it works. That's like saying a child is someone that identifies as a child, or what roles of a child they think a child should be. That doesn't make any sense.
So here's a
That doesn't
question.
make any sense.
You're comparing right now rotations around the sun and what we consider to be under a certain age and as a child as a society versus over a certain age as an adult versus something which is gender identity, one of the few aspects of gender as a whole that develops in
Gender identity
let
doesn't
me
exist.
let me complete we let you speak, you're gonna let us speak now. Okay, thank you. So gender identity develops in the brain. It's really caused by hormone washes in utero, but it develops in the brain as you're growing up between the ages of 3 and 7. You're approximately you're informed by your parents, your crushes, your friends' parents, your grandparents, your aunts and uncles, whoever you're around in your community will inform what you see as a woman and what you see as a man, and then you're going to identify with one of those things, man, woman, neither, both, whatever that looks like for you. And that is something that we don't get to choose either. So you can't compare that to rotations around the sun. Like, I don't understand. That's a fact that none of us are denying. When it comes
Okay,
to
can I?
gender, it is something that is developed within the brain and is unique to each individual, because none of us grow up in the exact same environment with the exact same input on what a man, what a woman is, what a non-binary person is. We don't
Right.
have those same experiences. So we can't say that how you identify as a woman and the things that help you identify as a woman are going to be the same as anybody else's. We can't do
Right.
that. So that's
So
why
that
it is the way it is, to be inclusive of all like people.
right. First of all, in your original definition of woman, you guys didn't talk about hormonal washes in the brain or whatever it is. And also, when you're talking about the brain, let me finish before you interrupt. When you're talking about the brain, you're now referencing sex, because when scientists talk about the differences between brains of men and women, it's now referencing sex. So we're talking about males and females. So your study needs to prove how a male can have a female hormonal wash of the brain that gives them the gender identity of a woman.
I need
You haven't given a study that's
The reason
proven
I'm
that.
interjecting is because I want you to scratch that part of what I said, because I personally do not have the studies on hand right now. I have them on my computer,
Okay.
which is not with me. So I'm not going to push that part of it. But everything else I said, did you hear any of it? Did you take in that part, like the most important
Yes,
of the
but that
point?
part relies on your studies, on you proving that with your studies, which you haven't brought. So
None of what I said relied on the hormone washes in the brain. But there are studies you can pull up, psychological studies that show that gender identity develops between the ages of 3 and 7 in the brain. That shouldn't
yeah,
be
you
too
need
hard to
to
find.
show me that the burden of proof is on you, and you haven't done that yet. So
I'm
we're
not
wasting.
when I say that, I'm actually speaking to the host because he's the one who knows I don't have a computer, and he's the one who can pull stuff up mostly.
Okay.
So he's gonna that one shouldn't be hard to find, ideally, but we're talking about like your gender identity of being a woman, I assume, is something that you developed in your childhood, just like I
No,
did, just like the host did, just like Kitty
no,
did, just like everybody
no,
else. You develop that in your brain when you're growing up.
no. Oh, a woman is just an adult human female. It's got nothing to do with hormone washes in the brain or anything like that.
Sometimes
Which
I
you
wonder
can't.
if some of y'all are like asexual, or not asexual,
What is it?
agender.
How's that
Sorry,
relevant?
I meant to say agender. Sorry, not asexual, agender. Because when you conflate sex and gender so much, it makes me wonder if you have like a experienced gender
No,
identity or not.
I'm
Like,
just not a sexist
do
who
you
thinks
feel
that
like a
being
woman?
feminine makes you a woman. I
Do
just
you
don't think being feminine
Whoa,
makes you a
whoa,
woman.
whoa,
I
whoa,
just
hold
think
do you
on.
feel like
a
a woman,
woman is a
India?
state of.
We're
I don't
not
feel like a
saying
woman.
that.
I just am one.
Nobody
I
here
don't
is
feel
saying
like a
that being
woman.
feminine makes you woman.
Your
I'm.
definition quite literally has feminine inside of it, so you clearly think that
What
your
does
definition
Or
or?
includes
as
What does
feminine.
or mean,
or
But that's
India?
not the point. Yeah,
No, no,
but
no.
it
That
still
is a
has
point.
femininity inside of it. It still has femininity inside of it.
What
There is
What
no
does
such thing
this
as a
mean?
feeling
What
like
is
a woman.
or as feminine? What is woman or
Yeah,
as feminine?
or
What does
as
that mean?
feminine. It still includes femininity in it. That's the problem. It still includes it.
but it says that you don't have to have it. You
Yeah, but the
can't
fact that it
you
still
can't
includes.
you can't
Can I finish?
interpret conjunctions.
Conjunction,
You're
Okay.
not listening,
junction.
and you're being
What's your
purposefully obtuse.
function?
You still mentioned stereotypes such as femininity in your definition. Even if you said or as, it still mentions
India.
stereotypes,
Yeah,
which is sexist.
because some people rely on a stereotypical view of feminine to
So
identify
you
as.
think that you can be a woman if you're feminine as well. This is what the definition entails. You think that if you're feminine, you can be, that makes you a woman.
No,
There's
no,
more
That
no,
is
to
what
no,
the
no,
it.
no, no,
definition.
no, no,
That's
no,
not
What
the
do you
whole
mean
no, no,
no?
no, no, no,
This
no,
is
no,
what the
no.
definition is
So if
saying.
somebody identifies as feminine based on what's important to them, which includes gender identity or gender roles, behavior, expression, identity, and or physiology. If they see that their view of feminine, or if they think that they're feminine based on those things and what they find important, they are a woman. You know why we do this though?
And okay, and
Do you know why this
what are
definition is
those
used?
things? Who
Because
uses this definition?
the whole medical, like the whole medical field.
Where's
This
your
is
proof of
just
Stanford
that?
medicine.
Where's your proof of that?
so.
Definitions have to
Wait,
be the
wait.
same
Stanford
across
medicine.
medicine, or
Stanford
else we
medicine.
can't study anything or communicate
Then
it.
show me all the medical organizations that use this exact definition everywhere.
Stanford
Not
medicine.
just Stanford. Stanford is one medical organization. Show me the others.
Oh, do you want? It's not the exact same, but Cambridge has a similar definition.
Cambridge is not a medical organization.
I know it's not medical, but still,
Yeah, and they have a
it's a
different one
university and an
to
institute that
Stanford.
is typically seen
They
as
have a different
reliable.
one.
Not just that. I can pull up more if you give me the time to, but I actually wanted to just ask you something real quick.
Go ahead.
How do you define a woman then? Go for it.
Adult
Ready?
human female.
Sometimes. Okay,
Adult
so
human
I'm a
female.
woman then by that definition.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really just that simple.
So the American Medical Association, the American Academy of Pediatrics, American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, the American Psychiatric Association, the American Academy of Family Physicians, American College of Physicians, the Endocrine Society, the World's Medical Association, the World Professional Association for Transgender Health, the World Health Organization. Shall I continue? They
Okay.
all include identity-based definitions of man and woman.
Yeah, and which you have to say each of the definitions, because you said that they use this exact definition all across the board, but you haven't
Yeah,
said.
so they use some sort of definition that relies on gender identity instead of sex.
Those
Yeah, and
others,
how do you identify as a woman?
Well, just because you don't understand it doesn't mean that
I know I
other
do, but
people
you
don't.
haven't explained it. You haven't explained it. You've just
So,
given a circular definition and a bunch of stereotypes.
do you agree that you have an internal sense of self?
Yes.
Does that include being, masculine, feminine, neither or both, or man or woman, neither or both?
I think masculine and femininity is different to being a man or woman.
Okay. Do you think that does your internal sense of self have any sense of being a man, a woman, masculine or feminine, combination of any of them, or none of them?
Well, as a woman myself, I participate in both masculine and feminine things though. So I don't I don't just follow one type of way. Like every human being does masculine and feminine things. Like if a man bakes a cake, is he now a woman because he participated in something that's seen as feminine? No.
No.
That's why it makes, yeah, exactly. So it's not being a woman or being a man. It's not based on roles that you do or if you're masculine or feminine. It's just based on what you are, what
you
you're
literally
physically
went over
being.
this. Like, there's a whole other part of the definition that addresses all of that, and that you're just ignoring.
I'm not ignoring. I
It
explained
said,
that other part of the definition, but okay. Sure.
So
yeah, we explained this to you. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll give an example of like myself. I think that gender roles, behavior, expression, and identity all play a role in me being a man. I don't base it off of my physiology. I don't care
And
about
what gender roles and behaviors would make you a man? Tell me
So that's going to be
what are they?
this is going to be very cultural based. So
Yeah, just say it.
so within my culture, I'm a coder. I like to be on computers a lot. I find that that's a more masculine thing. Doesn't mean that it is a more masculine thing. I think it is. Doesn't mean I'm right about it.
So you think that you being a coder, because that's masculine to you, that's what makes you a man? You don't see the issue with that? You don't see how sexist that is?
Well, it is a little
Do you not
stereotypical,
see how
but
sexist
that
that
is actually
is?
based off of good data. There's not many women who program compared to men. Agreed?
Yeah, and you
Okay.
think that that's what makes you a man? That's
No,
the problem.
that's
You guys
part
are
of it.
sexist.
That's part of it. I
Yeah,
act
that's
more
still
like a
a
man. I
problem
think
if you
I
think it's
behave
part
more
of
like a
it.
man. I'm more
You
protective.
haven't defined man, so you can't say you act like a man when you
Media,
haven't properly defined what a man is.
you've asked for this definition, and then you haven't let him explain all of it.
I
He gave you one initial part of an answer, and then you laughed at him for it. Be respectful, okay? And let
I'm
people
laughing because it's a
complete
joke.
answering what you're saying before you interject and interrupt.
So would it be wrong for me to look at society, look at all the men I see in society and all the women I see in society, and say, yeah, I better fit in men. I think I better fit in that way.
What do you mean you better fit in? Sorry,
I just see myself.
did you say better fit or benefit?
Yeah, I better fit. I find myself that I personally think that I fit in best with men versus women.
What sex are you? Are you male or female?
It's I'm a male, a biological male. I'm a cis man. So I have
Okay, so
testicles and a
you're a
penis,
man.
and I've always had that. Not
So
sure
you're
how
born.
much
So you're
I have
born.
to. Yeah, I was born this way. As Lady Gaga
So you're a
says.
man.
Yes, I was born this way.
You're a man. Yeah, you're a man who likes masculine things. That doesn't be liking masculine things or
Ooh, I
participating in
don't like
masculine things
masculine
doesn't make you a
things. I
man.
don't like football. I don't like sports. I don't like a lot of masculine things
You just
actually.
said that. You just said coding, which you think is a
Yeah,
masculine
I
thing.
see it as a
So
more masculine thing, but that's just one of many things that like there's a lot of masculine things I don't fit in or I don't agree with. I don't.
yeah, you see why it's silly to define people on gender roles, because there are so many different gender roles that both men and women participate in. That doesn't mean they swap their gender because they participate in those things.
Part of it.
So
Part of it.
It's still, yeah, I understand that you're saying part of it, but you even adding that to the definition, being a part of the definition, is still a problem because it's still sexist and it fails to define.
Definition for
so
the culture that he was raised in. Have you been listening at all?
yeah, so
I
like
have, but you guys are being purposefully obtuse and you're not understanding simple
I
English.
understand what you're trying to do, but
What am I trying to do?
you're trying to deconstruct this definition because it's viciously like it just completely obliterates anything
It doesn't
that you
obliterate
stand for.
anything. It's the most silly definition
So
I've
if you
ever
were to
heard in
accept
my
this
life.
woman, or if you were to accept this definition, that means that trans woman would be a woman.
No, it wouldn't. The definition doesn't even make any sense. The first part is circular, the second part is sexist and fails to define.
So
So
do you
no.
understand what circularity is and when it's a problem, when it's not?
Yes, it is a problem in this definition because it doesn't tell
When
you
is
what a woman is. You
circularity a
can't say a
problem
woman
in a definition?
Yeah, let me finish. You can't say a woman is someone that self-identifies as a woman because it doesn't tell you what a woman is. If we use that logic for another definition, for example, an adult is someone that identifies as an adult. That doesn't tell you.
Getting
Why
tired
do you
of
keep
it.
interrupting me?
Because
Why
you
do you
keep
keep interrupting
repeating
me?
yourself. Why do you keep
Because
repeating yourself?
I'm explaining to you why your definition is wrong and you just
Well,
refuse
that
to
wasn't
listen
Then
to
actually
me.
we
what I
have to repeat
asked.
ourselves, that we add information to the definition that
Yeah,
you're just
so
ignoring. And we heard the examples. They're not
Yeah, so why
analogous.
do you keep saying it then? Why do you keep using the definition when I just explained to you why it's wrong? Why it
well,
doesn't make
so
any
you
sense?
said it's circular. When are circular definitions problematic? What are the criteria for when a circular definition is problematic?
Yeah, it's always going to be problematic if it's a logical
You
because
don't
it's
want
a
to say
logical
that. Hold on,
fallacy.
hold on. You don't want to say that because all of language is circular.
Why?
Because definitions
How?
by
Explain
themselves
how.
rely on other words, which rely on other words. Eventually, you're gonna
That
find a
doesn't
circle in
that
there.
doesn't make it circular. That's
It
not how circularity works. If you understood what circularity was, you wouldn't say that. That literally makes no sense. Quite literally, the definitions, if you go on the dictionary right now, you cannot prove that the definitions in that dictionary is circular. That's not what circularity is. So try again.
Hey,
so a circular circularity having the form of a circle. I create a loop in there, but when you use a word that you've already used as part of the definition, you create a circle, a loop that you can't get out of.
My
That's
definition
circular.
doesn't do that.
So
How is adult human female as woman circular? Explain that to me. How is that circular?
so define a or an.
Define A. I don't have that at the top of my head.
I feel like adult is where it really breaks down quickly.
So the dictionary. Let's see. Abbreviation. No, I want.
Can you hurry up?
So it's a indefinite article. That's what it is. So the definition. So a is an indefinite article, and it's the definition is a determiner a and an in English that introduces a noun phrase and implies the thing referred to as non-specific. So like I've already said a here. that this definition is going to be circular, but defining
That
an
doesn't.
indefinite article using an indefinite article is not circular enough for it to not be useful. The point of a
That you quite
definition
literally haven't
is to gain
proven how it's
information.
circular.
That's what a point of a definition is, correct?
Yeah, and saying a woman is someone that identifies as a woman, you gain zero information from that.
Well,
How is that?
yeah.
How
So
what
if
do you
it's
gain?
if it was
Really?
only if it was only based off of that, but it includes the part that is based off of what's important to them as an individual, and that includes things such
That's
as
just
gender
refusing
roles,
to
One
behavior,
define.
second.
expression, identity, and or physiology.
I
So we're
just need
adding
to
more
make
information to
sure.
this. To
Sorry.
this.
I just need to make sure that I'm living in reality. Can you put you as big real quick, Keaton?
Who?
That's like saying an apple is
Can you just
something
wait
that
a second
identifies
so
as
that
an
I can make
apple,
sure I'm still
and
living
an
in
apple is
reality,
what
India?
whatever it is to you.
India, I have a question for you.
Hmm.
Does that say woman, a person who identifies as a woman?
Woman, women, a term used to describe someone who self-identifies as a woman or as
I
feminine based
did
on
ask
what.
you a yes or no question. Does that say woman, someone who identifies as a woman? Yes or no?
No, it says women, but a woman is
Okay, so
just
if
a
I
women is just
switched it
plural.
out with women, does it say women, someone who self-identifies as a woman?
Yeah, that's still circular because a women is just
Yes or
plural.
no? Yes or no? Is that what's on the screen? Is that what you're reading?
You're not listening. Women is just
You're not
is
answering
just
my question. Is that what
I
it
am
says on
answering
the
your question.
screen?
It
Yes or no? Is that what it says?
it says women on the screen. It's still
Okay,
circular though.
but is the entirety of the definition that you're reading someone who self-identifies as a woman? Is that all you're seeing?
No, and I already talked
Okay.
about the other part of the
Okay.
definitions. I already explained
So
to you why
so the
it's
I'm
wrong.
still
circularity
living in
part
reality.
doesn't matter.
Sorry. It's just like
So like this would be problematic.
Oh my fucking gosh.
This would be a very problematic definition. We can all agree that this is
Yeah,
entirely viciously circular
the
because we're
definition is
adding
it
nothing
just
to it at that point. But no, that's not the definition we're
it's still
using.
the first part is still circular. What are you not understanding?
So it might be circular,
It's
but it's
still
not
circular.
problematically circular.
It's still circular. What the fuck is problematically circular? Just because you decided to do it in a long-winded way, that doesn't stop it from being circular.
a
It's still
term
circular.
called viciously circular that you I'm sure Keen's pulling it up. You just probably have never heard it
You
before.
just went a long-winded way of being circular. Congratulations, I
Viciously
guess. I
circular
don't.
isn't different from other types of circularity, according to you.
So circular definitions are problematic when they fail to provide new information, create self-referential loops that prevent understanding and lead to infinite regressions, or lack external grounding, making them unhelpful for explaining concept or proving claims.
Right.
So we
I've already
are we
systematically.
providing new information?
Yes, you are providing new information, but it still fails to be a definition,
Okay.
which I already explained to you
So
several
do we
times.
create self-referential loops that prevent understanding?
Yes, the first part, a woman is someone that identifies as a woman. Yes, you do.
If you read the whole thing, though, we're talking about the whole thing, not part of it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I already, okay, I
We're
literally went
going
through
through
the
the
whole
problems
definition.
of what when it
I
is a
explained to
circular.
you, okay, and let me tell you the problems. The first part is circular. The second part is based on, it says, or as feminine, based on what is important to them as an individual, including gender roles, behavior, expression, identity, or physiology. That second part is sexist. It fails to define because it's not only women
And
that
or
can be
physiology.
feminine.
I just need to
Let me
correct.
finish,
I just
please. Let
needed
me
to correct
finish.
one little thing. And or physiology, not just or, and or. That's it.
Right. Yes, that second part is sexist, fails to define because it's not only women that are feminine, men can be feminine too. And also, you're basically saying that it's up to you to define the word, which is just you can't do that, because if we use that logic for every single word in the dictionary, we wouldn't know what words mean. If we said an apple is something that identifies an apple, and an apple is what is what it is to you, what you think an apple is. That doesn't, how can we use language if we don't know what we're talking about? Because if I ask you to give me an apple, you could pass me something that's like a charger, for example, because you think that's what an apple is. You're basically telling the person to define the word. How are we going to use language if we don't know what we're talking about? So this definition, which I just explained to you several times, why it doesn't make any sense.
So
have a
this part
question
here,
real
that
quick,
that's
Anita.
that says including gender roles, behavior, expression, identity. What this is pointing to, this is pointing to cultures, to societies. So this is what an individual has experienced. They look
Okay,
at
so we're
India, my question for you, my relevant quick question. Did you know that you were a girl before you knew the definition of being a girl?
yes, I did know I was a girl before I knew the definition of being a girl.
How? If we need these definitions and they need to be
Well,
so
as a
specific,
child,
how?
first of all, adults will tell you that, obviously. They will tell you that you are a girl. And I knew I was a girl most likely based on my genitals. Even though obviously being a girl is not defined by your genitalia, that's my understanding of it as a child. Obviously now I've gotten older, I know it's not based on that. But yes, I was a girl because I was an adolescent human female. That's what made me a girl. And I'm now a woman because I'm an adult human female. It's very simple.
I
I'm
mean,
not a
I
girl
just
because
don't know
growing
how.
up, sorry, can I finish? Growing up, I
Go
was very
ahead. Sorry,
masculine.
that one was my bad. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, growing up, I was very masculine. So, like, according to you guys, I would be a boy because
no.
I participate in
No, we never
masculine
said
things.
that. That's
Did you
incorrect. We
So,
will
self-identify?
according to your
No,
definition,
we
sorry, can I
will
finish?
interrupt for that kind
Hold
of
on, hold
bullshit.
on, hold
So
on, India.
the whole point of this, I don't know if you want to wrap it up or if you want me to wrap it up or if you just want to go for it, Keaton, let me know.
Oh, I was just gonna say, did you self-identify as a man or masculine based on what's important to you as an individual, including gender roles, behavior, expression, identity, and or physiology? Did you self-identify as a man based on those?
Yes or no? She's acting like we're muting her eternally. I muted her once a while ago.
Yeah, I was masculine because I wanted to be, but that had nothing to
Did
do
you
with my gender.
self-identify as a man?
Yes or no?
No,
Okay,
I'm
so
not a
then you
man.
weren't a man. We didn't think that we wouldn't call you a man.
No.
You still identified as a woman.
Well,
You
girl,
can't say someone. You can't say that because that's still circular. You can't say, oh, because you didn't self-identify as a man.
this
you're
is
a girl.
wild.
That doesn't make any sense.
India. Right.
You haven't defined what a man is.
India.
Why
You
is she
just
already make
admitted-
everything overcomplicated? Like,
be
I don't
clear.
understand this.
So do you know
Why
why
did
this?
you-
Yeah, I just need to make sure I'm in reality again. You just admitted that you have a self-identity of a girl or a woman.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Not with
I
those
quite
words
literally have not.
necessarily, but I mean, am I tripping, Keaton?
You are tripping because you think men can be
I didn't
women.
ask
So you're
you
definitely
yet.
tripping.
Am I tripping, Keaton?
Actually, Cole doesn't think that men could be women. No, you're not tripping.
Okay. And also, we'll let Kitty go again. Sorry. Sometimes I see the comments, but like sometimes with certain guests, you just gotta jump in to start, and then we're listening to you for that period for sure. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. It's just every time I try to speak, I just get overspoken. It's like, okay. Right, so India, first off, right, I'm going to run a little situation by you. So, say if someone who was born with a phallus, for example, would you say that they're a man based off of just that?
Sorry, is a phallus the same thing as a penis?
Yes. I'm just using TikTok friendly language.
What is the definition of a P? And what does this have to do with being transgender? Sorry.
We
Yeah,
all
you'll understand in a minute. I'm asking you a yes or no question. Would you say that that would be a boy if they were born with that?
What I'm asking, what is the definition of a P of a penis? I don't know if I can say that, but yeah. Because a phallus is different to a p.
Okay.
What is the definition of a p? And then we'll go from there.
A penis is a body part that is constructed of penile tissue, often containing urethra, blood vessels, things like that, that is connected to both the bladder and the testicles typically.
What's the definition of a phallus?
I'm saying phallus in place of penis is TikTok safe language. I did just state that. So yes or no?
Is a phallus and a p two different things?
Look at the... No, because a phallus, a penis, especially when erect. But overall, it's essentially synonymous words. So yes or no?
Are phallus and p the same thing? Because I don't think they are. And what does this have to do with being transgender?
Phallus.
I'm trying
Phallus.
to get
Noun. A penis.
Can you just...
Those are two different things. They're not synonymously used.
Let's mute up while we get the full definition, but the first
Give me the
one
definition of a
before-
phallus and the definition of a p.
Dude, we're trying to give you these things, but we need to mute up while they're read for the people that are using
Yeah.
these speech
I was
tests.
just gonna say,
Like,
I'm not being funny. I'm just
people
trying
need
to
to be
get
able to
this
hear.
through. Okay, right. So let's just change it to penis then instead of phallus, for fuck's sake. Just get past all this bullshit. Yes or no? Would that be a boy?
If someone's born with a p, would they be a boy? Yes, because only
Yes.
males can have a p. Only males can have a p. So yeah.
What about over testes?
Jesus Christ, there are no females born with male anatomy. There is 0 females with p's.
Oh, that's hilarious because my birth certificate says female, yet I have one.
You do not have a p. If you're a female, you cannot have a p. It's literally biologically impossible. You do not have a p.
It's biological
You have
impossibility.
what you have is your arm meat from your arm on top of your V. You just got some meat from your arm on top
I'm
of
not
your V
trying.
and made it into a weird sausage.
No. They
You
were
just
born
said
this
that-
way.
India, I'm not trans. What?
You're not trans, so why did you say that being an adult human female would make you a woman then? If you know you're not trans, if you know that you're a woman. And it seems like, have you ever taken testosterone?
Yeah, but that was in the past.
So
due
you're
to
not,
certain-
so you're not trans? You're not trying
No.
to, so what are you? You're a woman that's taking testosterone.
No. Not
Are you a
currently
woman?
taking it? Yeah.
Are you a woman? You are a woman.
Yeah.
And, okay, so you're not a trans man or any non-binary, nothing like that.
No.
So if you're a
Confusion.
woman, how can you have a P? How can you have a P if you're a woman?
Because I was born with something called ovotesthesis.
What does that have to do with having a P?
Because ovotesthesis is where you have both testicular tissue, like a phallus.
That has nothing.
penis.
Testicular tissue has nothing to do with having a P.
Stop asking
Hey,
questions and then
can you-
interrupting people. I swear to God.
If you actually let me finish, I have both penile and testicular tissue as well as ovarian tissue.
Yeah, that still has nothing to do with with having a P though. Tissue is different to having the actual genitalia.
Wait, so I
of a male.
physically have a penis that is constructed of penile tissue because I was born that way, and I also have.
Ovotesticular tissue has nothing to do with a P. That
Wait, you're telling me that a penis is not made of penile tissue?
I'm talking about the condition you apparently have, which I find hard to believe, has nothing to do with having a P.
Okay, do not disrespect the people on this panel when they are sharing their stories. I swear
I
to God,
don't-
Kitty,
I
if you
don't-
need to drop them, do it at any point.
No, it's fine. I don't really care. So I don't care if you believe me or not, whether I have it or not. So what?
I mean, a lot of
I do, but
you guys
sure.
lie about having intersex conditions, so I'm not gonna put that past you.
I mean,
fucking insane.
That's
Not
I don't.
India.
It's
Not
insane
kidding.
that you lie about having
India.
intersex conditions. That's what's insane, actually.
It
Sorry.
really doesn't happen.
Okay, some people might lie
It does.
about it. I don't care, but my point is that you can have both a vagina and a penis at
No,
birth.
that's literally impossible. There is no human with a fully developed V and a P.
I never said
That's
it was
impossible
fully.
because of mutual. But you just said you can have a V and a P. That's impossible. Impossible. Because of mutual antagonism and gonochorism. Impossible.
You're telling me to
This is
show
what I mean when you
medical
guys just
records.
lie about things. Like, why are you guys lie
Listen,
about
India. Listen. Did you say you had a vagina at any point, Kitty?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I do, but that didn't.
Well, there you go. And did you say they're both fully developed?
No, I never stated that. But also, when you're saying the fully developed thing, that typically goes for the entirety of the reproductive system, not the singular parts. You can still have a different singular parts of a system and it not be fully developed.
I'm learning things. Thank you. Okay, and now if India was listening off Appy, then she can use that information to inform her next questions.
Not just that, also listen to comments saying show the medical records. I'm not stupid enough to show personal information online.
But you're announcing it to the whole world that you have this apparent intersex condition, so
Show your genitals online.
Okay, so for me,
you
sex-
claim to
for
be
me-
no
a
one asked
female.
you to show your
Wait.
genitals. No
Wait,
one
by-
asked you to
by-
do that. Stop reaching.
Wait, by saying that, in other words, you're saying, okay, so you're this, so you have to prove it to the entirety of the world to be it. You're a woman, prove it to the
No,
entirety
it's
of
just-
the world. Like, what?
No, I'm not asking you to do that. It's just a lot. It's a lot of the time. A lot of these TRAs just lie about having intersex conditions, and it's just very weird. Imagine
Yeah,
lying
I
about
wish-
having
I
a
wish
genetic
I-
condition
I
to
wish I
to put men into women's bathrooms. Like, it's just the weirdest fucking thing. Why are you?
India, listen, I do not think that is any of us. And you, Kitty, didn't you say you don't care if she believes you or not?
Yeah, I don't care about
Okay, so
that.
can we
What is the
move
name
on
of your
from that
intersex
then?
condition?
Over testicular syndrome. Also known
And
as
you're a
hepatitis
female
B6.
with over testicular syndrome.
Pardon?
You're a female with over testicular syndrome.
Yes, because it's a syndrome that can occur in both males and females.
So you're just a female with over testicular syndrome. You're still a female. Next question.
Yeah, but you said females can't have penises, can't be born with
Yeah,
them.
they can't. You don't have a P.
But I'm
You don't have a
born
P.
with them.
You quite literally do not have a P. It's impossible for any female to have that. So yeah, you don't have a P. I don't know what you got down there, but it's definitely not a P.
What
that's
you're
for sure.
saying would disprove my point, so it's not true.
No,
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 you don't.
I quite
That's
literally
the
proved
best
how he
argument
doesn't.
I've ever
How
heard right
he doesn't
there.
have a P. It's just biologically impossible for a female to have a P. It's biologically impossible for that to happen.
So wait,
you
wait.
just
What,
don't have
what do
it.
you mean by female? Are you talking about chromosomes? You talking about?
No.
Okay, so you're not
No,
talking
we're
about
not
chromosomes.
talking about chromosomes.
Are you talking about genetics?
Being female is based on your gametic production.
Oh no,
Not
you don't want to
chromosomes.
say that. You
Why
don't
not?
want to say
Why
that
not?
because people who
Why
make
not?
small gametes have fucking vaginas. It's called Sawyer syndrome.
Oh my! No man has a V. There are 0 males on this planet with a V. Do you know what a V
people
is?
who have testicles, who produce sperm, who have a vagina.
What person produces sperm has a V?
It's actually
Where?
one of the most common intersex conditions. It's called
Oh my
CAS,
God, you guys
androgen
are such
insensitive
liars.
syndrome.
It's
Have you ever heard of
I
it?
do, for Kitty's
I
sake,
have heard of that,
do
but that
want
has nothing to do with
India,
males having V's.
please. I really just want, because India's mind is going to be blown every time we mention an intersex condition. And I know that wasn't like the end point of what Kitty was saying. And I want them to be able to, I want her to be able to get to the end of
There's
that
males
point.
out there with V's.
India, can you help Kitty and the rest of us make sure that the panel is quiet for Kitty to speak? Whenever they're back.
You know, I'm back. Sorry, I was just
Okay.
literally trying to pull up 2 separate sources.
You're good. Go ahead.
But also, my point is, one, you can be born with that, which you're saying is impossible, which is misinformation. And even if you bypass that, as they said, Swire syndrome, they have testicles, but they also have a vagina, which you're saying is impossible. That would base their gamete production
That is
around
impossible.
small gametes, of which... There you go. I've given you a source for it. Do you want to go read up on about that?
Give me the source.
I just put it in the comments.
Yeah, read the article. Give me the article name. There's names of these articles. There's names.
Do you know what a PMI
up
is
on
by
the screen.
chance, India?
Put it up on the screen, if you can.
Do you know what a PMID is, India?
Public medical document. I don't know.
Do you know how to use one to find information? Because it's easier to
The
go
burden
to
of proof is on you. So you show me
What-
how a male can have a vagina.
I'm
Go
trying
ahead and
to
do it.
tell you how we could show you, and you're
And
not
what does this have to
listening.
do
Go
with
ahead,
being
Jenny.
transgender? Why are you weaponizing people with genetic conditions so you gender freaks can go into the opposite sex's
Oh my
bathroom?
Oh,
God.
gender freaks.
We're
That's
not,
a new
we're
one.
not. I don't know. Are we dropping for that one, or are we
Let's-
continuing to entertain
No,
this?
we'll just. You said they're freaks. Prove it.
Yeah, if you're pushing for males being female bathrooms, you're definitely a freak.
You're not proving anything.
That makes you think. You
I am.
might think
You're a
that.
freak and you hate women.
Let's see. What is the definition of freak?
Yeah.
If you think a woman can have a pee, you're a freak for sure. If you think a man can be a lesbian, you're
Can
a
you
freak.
just wait for us to get this definition and not keep saying that?
The,
Well, okay. Wait, hold on. If you're just meaning a non-negative or not negative or positive being very unusual, unexpected event or situation, then yeah, it might be a little unexpected. But like, generally, you're saying that this is actually wrong, correct?
What is wrong?
Being trans.
Yeah, I believe that if you think a man can be a
Got it.
woman, you're wrong. It's just biologically impossible. So yes, you are wrong.
Well, so we're not saying that males can be females. I hope you understand that. We're also not saying that men can be women.
But you guys do say M to F though in a lot of your talk. You guys say, "Oh, I'm M to F," which means
Yeah,
you
so
think a male can
that's
become.
what we're saying is that they're assigned male at birth, but then they identify as females.
How can you identify as a female?
Because female is also a social use term and it has a different meaning when it.
Nope.
and
Nope.
You
Define female in a social way.
I don't have access to start pulling up definitions of female, but there definitely are ones that include this socially used definition that say that female is used to refer to women generally in some social situations. So when we say that, we're not saying that we are that our sex is female. Some of us may identify as having an induced intersex state, not like we're born with it intersex, which is totally different because not all of our sex characteristics line up with one side or the other. It's mixed, and that's kind of the definition of being intersex in certain ways. And so, other than that, we're not saying we are the opposite sex, though. We're never claiming that our sex is opposite of what we're born. We're not claiming that that science is incorrect. We're just using it in a social way to say we are man to woman, woman to man is what we're
There is no
saying.
social way to be a female. You know, female is not just for human beings; it's for all species. There is no social way to be a female.
So
you
it's-
quite are.
it's just
trying
common
to say
shorthand.
that a male can become a female.
Yeah, we agree that males can't become females, at least not within humans.
Yep.
It's just common shorthand for transgender women who are assigned male at birth and transition to live as a woman.
Yeah.
That is what
So
MTF
if you know that
means.
trans women,
It's
yeah, if
kind
you
of
know that
a
trans women are
misnomer
male-
in some regards.
Yeah.
right? So if you know that trans women are male, why should they be in female spaces? Why should any type of male be in a female space? What gives them the
Because
right
it's
to
a
be?
woman space, not a female space.
But
Yeah,
women,
so-
but women's spaces are for human females. That's the problem. So why should a male be in a space for females? Explain
So-
that to me.
Would it be problematic to hear that when people are forced to be when you force it to be based off of sex, that it causes transgender people harm?
No, I don't think it can. It may cause them harm, but that's not our problem.
Your comfortability over our safety. You heard it here first.
You're sorry.
It's
You don't
actually
get to
it's actually
invade
the
women's spaces because you don't like being a male. That's not our problem.
Me
You
personally,
don't like being a male.
I just
You don't.
want
That doesn't mean you now get to be in female spaces.
Are you saying you generally, or you as in me?
I'm talking about trans women.
why
Any
ought there
trans woman
be
that's,
hold it
that
hold on,
doesn't like
India.
being a male.
Why ought there be female spaces?
Yeah, because women. Yeah, because us as women, we need safety, dignity, and privacy away from the male sex. That's what feminists fought for.
That's misogynistic right there.
No, it's not. How is it misogynistic for women to be safe away
Because you're
from the
saying
male
that you
sex?
need protection in some way, that you need to be away from men.
Yes.
Because you're different.
Yes.
You're like lesser
Do you
in
know?
some
Do you know
regard.
that? Do you not see the statistics on male violence against women? And you think that that's wrong to provide women safe spaces? How is that
I didn't say that
misogynistic?
it's
Are you okay?
wrong, but I'm saying it's misogynistic
You just
to
said
say
it's
that
misogynistic.
females
How?
need to have their own space that is based off of being females
Yes.
because they are lesser in some way.
What? Do you know what sex-based oppression is? No, no one said it's lesser. Do you know what sex-based oppression is?
Yeah,
Sex-based
but it's
oppression is very
actually
real.
plot twist. Transgender women are actually more oppressed than transgender men. So it's actually based off of gender more than it is sex. Uh-oh.
How are they more oppressed than? Anyways, that's still irrelevant. Anyways, yeah, feminine men are definitely
So I actually have
issues.
studies
I
that show
agree.
that female, when you force transgender men into female only restrooms, they actually get assaulted more than the trans woman inside of male restrooms.
What does that have to do with
Well, what I'm
males now
saying is
entering
that the
female spaces?
females are actually
Entering male.
sexually assaulting. They actually are doing more sexual assaults than cis males in this one situation.
What does that have to do with a male entering female spaces or a female entering male spaces?
So do you
Sexual
think
assault.
do you think that if women or females are sexually assaulting a specific category, that they should be allowed to go into the males' restroom where we actually know that they're less likely to be sexually assaulted?
No. No.
Oh, so you're just okay with people being sexually assaulted?
I'm not okay with it. I just don't think that.
the
Can I
solution
finish? I just don't think
to
that
this
boundary should
problem.
be violated. The solution is that you go to the bathroom of the sex you were born as. Simple as that.
Yeah, but that leads to sexual assault.
How does a male? But what does that have to do with women's spaces? There
Because
are gay
the-
men in prison that are abused in prison that we don't now put them in the women's prison because
India.
they're feminine gay men.
We're not talking about prisons right now. We're talking about bathrooms.
I'm just giving an example.
And so what we're saying is that you are advocating for your comfort over other people's safety.
No,
That's
There
You're-
are
you're-
actually, so whenever somebody's getting assaulted in prison, what they do is that the prisoner can say, "Hey, I'm being assaulted. I don't like this," and then you request a transfer, and they usually will be moved out.
Yeah, but you don't get put into a women's prison though. There's no feminine gay men that get
But
put
there's
into women's prison
there's
because
two
they're being
restrooms. There's
assaulted.
male and female, or sorry, there's men and women's restroom. Agreed. There's just two restrooms usually. Sometimes there's a third, but usually it's just two in most places.
Huh? Say that again.
There's usually just two restrooms. It's not like that there's other, like, many prisons
Yeah,
have
women
different
in-
wings and stuff. So they can just transfer them to
Yeah.
a different wing and the problem gets resolved. There is no other restroom to go to.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is a gay man who's being abused in a men's prison will get moved into another part of the men's prison. What I'm trying to say is that we don't now put those men in women's prison. That's the part you're not getting. You don't put men who are being abused in women's spaces. That's not how
Well,
it
because
works.
there's other options.
So no.
Agreed?
Yeah, trans
So it's not
women who are being
analogous. That's so it's just not analogous because there's other options.
that is analogous because you can fight for a third space in bathrooms. You can fight for gender neutral spaces. But you choose not to. What you want to do is violate women's boundaries, and that to me is disgusting.
But you allow women to violate your boundaries?
How are we allowing women to violate our boundaries? How can a woman violate the boundaries of a woman's space? A woman can be in a woman's space. She's a woman. She can be there, so she's not violating any boundaries. You're a man
But
trying to enter a woman's
so you're
space.
special
That's
pleading
a
at this
violation
point
of a
then.
boundary. How is
So
that
what is
special
what is the
pleading?
morally relevant reason that trans men or trans women can't be inside of a woman restroom?
Yeah, because they're men, and no man should be in a
They're trans
woman's
women.
bathroom. No, they're a man.
What
A
does
trans
trans
woman is
mean?
a type of man.
What does
So
trans mean?
trans is someone whose sex is incongruent with their gender identity.
Yeah, you're correct. That does not mean not, does it not? It does not mean not.
A
So it's
trans woman is just a
not a
type of
woman is not a
man.
woman. A trans woman is a woman because trans does not mean
Okay, I
not.
can call them trans-identified males. Trans-identified males. Would that be better? Trans-identified males should not be in women's spaces. Simple as that.
Why ought
They're
they
violating a
not?
boundary.
What's the ought
They're
claim?
not
You're
women
making an ought claim. Why ought not?
because a woman is an adult human female and they are
So that's an is ought
males.
fallacy. You cannot justify an ought with an is.
How is that? How is
Have
that?
you
Is
ever
what
learned
fallacy?
anything about philosophy?
I mean, you don't know what a woman is, so you're expecting me to
I
know
mean, I gave
university
you a
level of
definition. You
philosophy
just
when you
didn't
don't
like
even know.
it.
Your definition was a bunch of garbage, and I already explained that to you. So,
I mean, you just looked at the
like,
whole medical community and you said, yeah, that's a bunch of garbage.
Yeah.
So,
yes,
like,
it
I
is.
just
There's
take that
medical
as reductio
communities
at
that
this
said
point.
lobotomy was okay.
So,
There's medical communities that said lobotomies were okay. So,
do you know
Sorry.
why it was thought as being okay at the time? Do you have any
it doesn't matter. They
understanding?
thought it was okay.
Did you have any
They
understanding
were
of
just wrong.
why they thought it was beneficial? It was wrong in the end, but it was seen as beneficial and they
Yeah,
had reasons
exactly.
for
So, in
it.
the end, we'll find out this whole trans movement is wrong.
So, but the current
Congratulations.
evidence suggests that this is actually the right thing to do. So, but
No,
you're
it's not. It's
against
not
that.
right to violate women's boundaries. Actually, no, I
Well,
don't
it
think
is
that's
right
right.
to prevent sexual assaults. It is right to encourage freedom and well-being.
So yeah, and when you put men in women's bathrooms, you're making women more at risk.
Actually, that's the fun part. We have no information about that. You're making a negligent
That's a lie.
claim.
64% of trans women in UK prisons are there for sexual assault.
Yeah, there's confounding factors there. I hope you understand that. Do you know what a
So
confounding
how
factor
is
is?
that lie? 64% of
Do you
trans
know what a
women are in
confounding
there
factor
for
is?
No, you don't know what a woman is, so of course I'm not gonna know what that is.
Oh, okay.
I really can't. I'm sorry. This it
You're
really
you're you're giving me university level things where you yourself don't know what a woman is. Like, how is that even equivalent?
I
dude,
do know
India,
what a woman
you're
is.
literally only saying
You
we
don't.
don't know things that we've shown you definitions
I've given you
for,
Yeah,
and
definitions.
and I
I've
explained
told
to
you
you why your
why.
definition is wrong.
and
I
it's
explained to
getting
you why it's wrong.
wild. It's getting extreme. At some point, before you go, India, I do have one question for you. I don't know if now's the time or not. Keaton?
Go
Go ahead.
ahead, answer, because I'm gonna do it soon anyway, so someone
Okay.
else can come.
It's a little bit irrelevant, and if you don't want to answer it, you don't have to.
Go ahead,
Um,
this one.
what gender and or sex do you think I am?
I'm just gonna ask you, were you born male or female?
I
we're
would.
just asking what
I'm
you think.
asking what you think.
Based off of what I'm hearing, I'm gonna assume that you are a male, so you're a man.
Okay. I mean, we won't share whether you're right or not necessarily, even though Keaton
So
already
you're
did.
I
But
mean,
I'll thank you for sharing your answer. All right, that's all.
sure.
Ian is live. Bye-bye.
You just said see ya after that.
Yep.
I actually was genuinely like curious. I hope that she was being genuine because I mean they say they know and they just don't. And I kind of want to.
Doesn't
I
fucking know.
kind of want to. Exactly. I kind of want to not share. I was trying that entire time to not say, like, give it away. And so I kind of want to do that more often and just before people leave, be like, what sex and or gender do you think I am? Like, go ahead.
Yeah.
I just want to see what they actually think.
I need to get Oh, I should get a sound effect, or we could just be like, well, you'll never know. Bye-bye.
It's a mystery.
Okay. Yeah, Ian is live, so I was gonna go watch Ian's live.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I did see the notif, though. Okay.
Yeah. And
Thanks for being here, kitty.
Hello.
It was good to have you up and have you run some arguments and share some
channel.
I mean, thank you. Although the person who keeps calling me a liar in the comments is hilarious, 'cause it's like, yes, something I hear on the daily. Apparently my existence is a lie, people.
The irony is screaming.
Okay, bye bye.
And thing is,
Bye.